Hi, Anke Herman here. In today's video, I'd like to show you a brand new application that I've got to manage my sewing business. And I'm really excited, as you can probably tell by the look on my face, because I've actually built that. So if you're in the Ingenious Sewing Professionals Facebook group, then you may have noticed that I've been a bit quiet the last few days, and that is the reason why, because I was headfirst in programming mode and I've created the application that I've been wanting for years. I'd really be curious to find out how you manage your client details, measurements, orders, payments, shopping lists, how you manage that, because I've been sort of, trying a number of solutions, and I've had the design and the structure and what I wanted in my mind for a very long time. But then, there's the programmer in me who's really quite keen to program my own solution. But then with all the sewing and coaching going on, I simply don't have time to spend the time that takes to actually program it from scratch. On the other hand, there's the idea of why reinvent the wheel when there's so many different applications and platforms and stuff around that help you with all these kind of project management, like task management and order management and client management. So there's loads of different applications, and I've looked at an awful lot and found that they all have the same problem for me, that they all built with a different type of business in mind. So they all have functionality that isn't relevant to me. And then there's other things that I'd really like to see and that I really, functionality that I really want that they don't have. So yeah, I've tried a few, and I've actually used some, and there's asana.com that was probably the one that I've used for the longest time, and that actually sort of halfway worked. But there's always that thing. It's like if I have to spend time entering data, and then I come in and I still can't see what I've got on the table, what's coming up due, and I still can't really see the information that I want to see, then I kind of don't feel motivated to put data in anymore, and then the whole thing's useless. So that's been really what's been happening. So in the end, I came back to the really high-tech version, like this kind of stuff. Now the problem, as you can imagine, it's like, yeah, the volume of work I've got, like, they fill up quickly, and then there's, you start off taking notes and measurements, and then by the time you come back for a fitting, there's like other pages in between, and then I'm forever searching where was that where. And I'm really quite surprised that I've not sort of put my foot in, like I've not really messed up an order or missed a due date, or I somehow have managed so far to keep it all in memory. But I've been finding it more and more difficult, especially now that group season is over and there's all these individual orders and everybody with their own schedule and their own due date, and so it's been more and more difficult to keep it all under control. And I think that's contributed to the sense of overwhelm that I've been feeling. And so the other day I came across, and it was really literally the other day, I came across a new kind of platform that actually has all the infrastructure for this kind of database application, and takes all the heavy lifting off my back and allows me to create the functionality that I want. And so I'm going to quickly show you around, because I'm really quite excited about it, as you can tell. So I'm diving out of the picture. So when you log in, and the thing is called Flamencreaciones Custom Order Management, you'll probably find a bit of a mix of English and Spanish. And so at the moment, I'm the only user. So I'm sort of admin, like this is for me to manage my orders and my clients and all of that. But I do have plans to give access to allow clients to create an account where they can then access their own client profile, their own measurements, and any order details that they've got, currently or in the past. So that's sort of step 2. That's sort of coming up next. But for now, I've got pretty much everything that I've always wanted. That's why I'm so excited. So now, first thing when you come in is you see the calendar here, and immediately you can see these are orders with a due date, and that's really something that I can see that, in 1 second, that, oh shit, next week, that dress is due next week, so I better get going. And so it makes sure that I don't miss any deadlines. And so I've got, and the other thing that I've been wanting for ages is an order estimate. I add order, like time estimates to orders. So I say now what I've got in the system now, it's about 190 hours of work. So it gives me a bit of an indication. And I mean, it's rough. It's not like super precise. But so if somebody asks me, I want you to make this or that, by whatever date. So that gives me an idea of whether that's possible or whether it isn't. And but that's basically, so that's the overview. That's sort of getting data out. Now, when it comes to entering details, it's, they've got my client profiles, and I'm going to actually create a client and a dummy order so you can really see how that works. So if I get a new client, I add a new client, and we call her dummy so that I know who to delete later on, and I can add your phone number and whatever details I have. And then I save. And so normally, if it's a new client, the next thing I'll want is enter the measurements, because there's no point entering client if they don't want anything. So there's a chance. And so I can enter, and I'm pretty sort of flexible here because I know what I want and what I don't need. And so I don't have too much sort of validation in here to not make that a pain in the butt. I can add a photo of, if it's clients that I don't know personally all that well, and if it's clients who are international or whatever, then then I always ask for a photo so I can sort of get a bit of a feel for what they look like, and then it takes me straight to the orders screen here, and I can add a new order. And so I'll say, okay, a black skirt for a fiesta, whatever, and it's cute, or I'm already started to work on it, or whatever, and then I can select my client, and I select the measurements. Now, the reason that's not the same field is because I do have orders where, for example, the client is the person who's paying. It may be the parents, but the person who actually gets the dress may be the kid. Or sometimes the primary contact is a teacher, and measurements can be several, and that can be a group of girls in a dance group or whatever. So if there is a due date, I can put that here, and I can put my description. If I scribble the stuff, then I can, take a photo of the notes and add that here. And then I've got this order registered. And so next thing I would do and say, okay, for that order, I need lining fabric. And it'll be about $5 a meter, and I'll need 2 meters. Do I need that on the shopping list, or do I have that, or does the client bring it, or do I have to buy it? If I have to buy it, I add it to the shopping list straight away. And I can add another order item and say, well, work is going to be, I don't know, say 100, whatever. Work. And let's say that's going to be 100. And so I've got that. Right. So now I've got the order here, and I can see the measurements here on one glance. I've got the order items. I say, okay, this is what this is going to cost, and if somebody, and I say, okay, they pay a deposit, and I can write that down straight away and say, okay, they've given me $50 as a deposit, And again, I also do select the client here because sometimes one will pay for another, or, you know, I've received the money from the teacher on behalf of the parent. So I do get all these things. So I want to be flexible, there. So, and that payment will show up here as well. And so I will then know instantly how much is outstanding still. So that's all, that's pretty much. And then if I go back to the dashboard, it should in theory appear here. So here we've got our dummy order because I added a due date, and so I've got that order under control now, which is super helpful for me, you know. And then if I go and then have a fitting, then I'll go into the order and then I'll say, okay, I'll add a note, and that'll be a note for the fitting, you know, for example. And then I'll go and say, okay, I will have to shorten the skirt 5 centimeters. You know, again, if I do have a drawing, or if I take a photo of the client, I can add the file or the image here as well. And this note will then also be stored with the order, and it'll show up at the bottom here. So our shopping list, there's, where is it? The lining. Here's our lining fabric, right? So I can see that if I have to go shopping, fabric shopping, then I can see all the stuff that I need for all the different orders, and I don't come home and always with that, oh, I have the feeling I've forgotten something. So this is all under control, and I can just go on and delete those as I buy the stuff that I need to buy. So that's pretty much all it does, and it saves me so much time. You know, it saves me so much time and searching for information, and where did I write down the measurements, and where are these the latest. And so yeah, I've really had a bit of a mess there, and it's been a problem lately with all these individual orders that need to be managed. And so in case you're interested, the platform's called Knack, and yeah, I've just discovered it, like literally on Friday, I think, and I've been playing around. I just sort of signed up for a trial account, played around, and I'm thinking, the dogs. So yeah, this is really, there's still a couple of questions that I've got, and there's still a few things that aren't, you know, quite the way I want them, or where I'm not quite sure how to do it, but the base of it is working, and I've actually started using it, and it's absolutely life-saving. And so I'm at the point where I think I don't know how I ever lived without this. So now, just wanted to show you, and yeah, really ask 2 questions. How do you manage your client orders and measurements and all these things? And let you know if you'd like some help streamlining your process and find a solution for your order management, please get in touch. I used to be a software developer. I love that stuff, like anything that's simplifying, streamlining, doing things in a more efficient way. I just love it. And so I'm more than happy to help you if that's something that you find helpful. So that's all for now. And I'll talk to you soon again. Bye for now.